My name's Andy, and I am super excited to welcome you here this morning. We are going to be taking probably an hour, might go a little bit longer than that, to share with you guys what we're going to be doing this year in Las Vegas. It is the first annual Sniper Scalping Las Vegas seminar. My former partner Jerry and I have gone our separate ways. Jerry's doing some other things, and so we've started Sniper Scalping Inc. And we are super excited about hosting our first event. And honestly, we already have a pretty packed house. We got a lot of people signed up and ready to come, but we do have spots for some more of you guys, so we want to share with you what we're doing out there. Here's what's going to happen over the next hour. I'm going to take probably 10 minutes. I wouldn't expect it'll go too much longer than that. And then I will toss things over to Scott, one of our presenters in Vegas. Scott is a sniper owner for the last couple of years, and he's an exceptionally talented trader and very, very, very successful. And one of the special things is just that he's willing to give back. He uses the same tools that every other sniper owner does, and finds massive success almost every day. He sits down at the computer, and he's going to give you a little glimpse into what he's going to be teaching in Vegas and what he actually does every single day when he sits down at the PC. So that's going to be awesome. And once we wrap up, then I'm going to give a few special offers. Once we wrap all this Vegas stuff up, those of you that want to stay around a little bit longer are welcome to, and I'll go through, take you through a look over the last couple of days of price action and look at how the sniper tools have done over the last couple of days. So feel free to hang around for that if you're not completely familiar with the sniper and you want to see how things work in the live market. We can take a look at the last couple of days. Okay, let's get rolling, guys. Let's start with a schedule of events. This is the general schedule for what the seminar is going to look like. Most traders will arrive on September 29th, which is Sunday. The seminar actually kicks off on Monday morning, September 30th, but it does so pretty early in the morning. We're going to start at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and the reason we do that is because that's the time we're all used to being together anyway, right? We're all out here and starting our day, even a little bit before that sometimes in reality, right, in the live trade room, Sniper Live Trade Room. So we just keep the same schedule when we're in Vegas, and what that gives us the ability to do is pack in a full day's worth of training, you know, in the morning, and gives us the ability to do some other powerful things in the afternoon, as well as give you guys the opportunity to enjoy Las Vegas a little bit while you're here also. So Monday we start at 6 a.m. and we run till noon, so we get 6 hours of training in there in the morning. Then we take a break and we go to lunch together. The sniper program buys lunch for everybody, and I'll be honest with you, it's one of the more powerful times, honestly, when you're sitting around a table with rubbing shoulders with other sniper owners or with one of the mentors that might be at your table or whatever. And some of the more valuable and powerful conversations that end up happening sometimes happen in the hallway, you know, during a break or at lunch or whatever. So that's one of the intangibles that's so valuable about being there live instead of just participating in the live streaming feed. And then in the afternoon, after we take an hour-and-a-half break to eat lunch and just relax a little bit, we get together back in the meeting room for some one-on-one time with the mentors. And this is a pretty cool, we've done this for a few years now, and it's a pretty cool, beneficial time. We've gotten a lot of feedback from traders saying it was one of the more beneficial realities for them, where they get to sit down one-on-one and, you know, talk about, work on whatever it is unique and specific and special to them. So that's happening while we're doing one-on-one with the mentors across the other side of the room. We'll have something scheduled, someone to facilitate conversation. So if you want to come by, even though you don't have a scheduled one-on-one time, there will be a group that will be engaged in some pretty valuable conversation during that time as well. But some of you guys are going to want to, head off to the town, and it gives you the ability to take in a show or walk around the strip or whatever you want to do. Monday evening, there will be an informal gathering available. I haven't nailed down that location yet, but those that are going to mostly stick around the hotel, we will make it an opportunity for you to get together with other sniper owners and just hang out a little bit on Monday evening if you want to. Tuesday, October 1st, same basic schedule. The only difference is Tuesday night, those that are interested will all go to dinner together at a really awesome steak and seafood place. It's a small chain. It's not really a chain. It's a unique place, Landry's. They have, I think, 4 locations around the world, or around the country anyway, and one of them's in Las Vegas. And when we utilize the Palace Station Casino Resort, Landry's is right across the street, so it's a great opportunity for us to hang out there. This question just came in, what hotel? So we stay at the Palace Station, which is 9 or 10 different restaurants. It's got an on-site comedy club. It's really pretty doggone nice. It's only a quarter mile from the strip. The reason we choose this location is because we're able to get lock-in dirt cheap rooms for you guys. And we tend to have a value-based clientele. We could stay at the Bellagio and everybody'd pay $250 a night. And that's one way to go, but generally our clientele likes to save a little bit of money, and so we've locked in room rates of $25 to $35 a night, depending on whether you want to be in the courtyard or up in the tower. So $25 or $35 a night for a room is pretty doggone amazing, and that's why we stay at the Palace Station. Again, it's only a quarter mile from the strip. You can actually walk there or take a free shuttle, so it's really a nice location. They've redone all their rooms very recently. They're very, very nice. And this year they just redid the conference space, so I'm actually excited to see that as well. Wednesday will be a full day. In the past, we've only done half days on Wednesday, so we're bringing even more value to you guys, and Wednesday will be a full day of programming. It'll be basically the same basic schedule. We'll be training hard in the morning and then one-on-one sessions in the afternoon. So here's this year's presenters, guys. We're going to have a couple of sniper owners that are guys just like you that have, really taken this sniper program and just taken it to a new level and really excelled with it. George is a good buddy of mine, and he's agreed to come out to Vegas and hang with us. George joined the sniper program. We're coming up on a year now, last November, I believe. And George has been a really successful trader for a while. He hit a little bit of a stumbling block, moving into the end of last year, and I was just able to really support him and help him mentally kind of process through some things, and he just kind of fell in love with our process and how we do things here at the Sniper. And shortly after that, fell in love with the sniper tools and everything that we do. So George has a unique background of having been trained by a market maker, and it gives him some really powerful, unique, and cool perspective on life or on the markets. And George is going to bring some of that to us. He's going to teach for 90 minutes on market makers and institutions, the method behind the insanity. He's going to kind of roll back the curtain for us a little bit. And, I think most of us that are in the day trading arena, we know that the markets are manipulated. That's not a surprise. If you talk to some, average Joe out on the street, that might be a surprise. But to us, we know that that's true. That's not a surprise. But there is a whole lot more going on in how the manipulation occurs, how to be able to identify it. There's all different kinds of levels of this reality. And George is going to give us a look into some of that I think most people will find incredibly eye-opening and exceptionally valuable. Okay? And then, of course, there's Scott. Scott has been a sniper owner now for almost 2 years, and he's been successful, a successful sniper owner, making money. Most days he sits down at his PC for over 18 months. Scott actually was a presenter at last year's Las Vegas seminar, and I have to admit he stole the show. Not only is he a phenomenal presenter, and he brings that ability as a presenter, and it combines it with his ability as a trader. So Scott is unique in that he's taken the sniper tools and become wildly successful at it, but he has this desire or willingness inside to kind of give back, and he's not scared to do it, which is really neat. So Scott's basically going to share with you guys exactly what he does every day to be successful, and he's going to tease you a little bit today. I'm giving you a little bit of a preview on that, which is awesome. Jay is the Sniper Scalping Inc.'s Executive VP. He's also a mentor here, and he's a jack of all trades. He does a lot of things for us. Jay's going to be teaching a session on trade setup theory that it's going to be good. He's teased me a little bit with a few points about it, but those of you that are creative in nature and don't just necessarily want to take what somebody hands you, but has a creative streak that when you see these sniper tools, you start to look at this idea and that idea and maybe have a desire to come up with some of your own things, you'll find this training exceptionally valuable. And then there's me, and what I'm going to be focusing on, guys, in Vegas is the new Sniper Auto Robots. For a long time, we've been rebellious of not wanting to automate the sniper tools, and there's a lot of reasons for that. I'm not going to get into it all now, but the bottom line is it's crazy dangerous, guys, unless you know what you're doing. There really is no such thing as a short-term day trading type auto robot that can just be turned on and let rip and let run loose. That's what people think they want, and they blow out accounts right and left because people sell them robots, but they don't really work that way. You know, position trading auto robots, those are the types of things you can leave run, and you know, they have huge drawdowns, but eventually, hopefully, they end up making you money. But short-term day trading, where you're going to take 30, 40, 50 trades a day, or 20, trades a day, there's a way to do it. There's a way to do it successfully. There's a way to do it, in a really powerful way. But it's not just to turn it on in the morning and come back in the afternoon and hope you have more money in your account. So basically, we made the decision, okay, we're going to produce some Autobots here because the Sniper program, these tools and signals are amazing. So we're going to do it, but we're only going to offer it to traders if they really pay attention to the training that we give them to make sure they know how to use it properly. So I'm going to show you exactly how these really cool Sniper Auto Robots work. You know, the Pulse Streamline Cross Signal is a robot for that. Standard Sniper Signal robot for that. It's exciting. It really is exciting, and it really is awesome. But we're going to temper that excitement and that awesomeness with how to do it right, how to use them in a safe way. But I'll tell you what, those of you that experienced the crude oil market in the last few days, not as much today, but the 2 days prior to this, where just such an intense pace to the market and so many amazing signals, I'll tell you, somebody that had an auto robot and knew how to use it, it could have been very beneficial trading on a day like we experienced the last couple of days. So there are places for it, there are ways to use it, and it's exciting and awesome. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be focused on in Vegas. I'm also going to do some bonus training after Vegas, where I'll be talking about volume analysis and incorporating some volume analysis. Do that in Vegas, but I decided that was just too much, biting off more than I could chew, so to speak. So we're going to focus on the Autobots in Vegas, and then we'll do a follow-up session after the fact where I'll weave in some of the volume stuff. So guys, if you have questions for me, I don't mind coming back and fielding questions after Scott comes on as well, but feel free to type any questions that you have for me at this point. Let me think about that. The question is, will I need an account at Mirus to use the auto robots? And the answer to that is no. The auto robots function solely inside NinjaTrader. They control your NinjaTrader, so you will not need an account at Mirus. Wherever you are hooked up, the robot shouldn't mind. It's not biased. All right. So, guys, I got special offers for everyone in attendance, okay? A bunch of you guys are already signed up. You're coming to Vegas, and this session is just to get you excited and get you all ready to go. There's others of you in the audience or that are going to listen to this recording that fall into one of three categories. Either you're an active sniper owner or leaser, but you haven't yet signed up to attend the live seminar or the live seminar stream. Let me just pause and mention that real quick. You know, there's a lot of advantages to coming live. I think you guys can probably think of what those are. The personal contact with the mentors and as well as fellow traders. But if you can't come live, you know, we are streaming the event. We did this last year. It was very successful. We learned some things that we think we can make the live stream even feel more like you're actually with us in Vegas. So if you can't come, doesn't mean you shouldn't participate. We are going to be streaming the event live, okay? So category 1, sniper owners that are active, but they just haven't made a decision to jump on the Vegas seminar yet. Category 2 is sniper owners or leasers that maybe haven't been active for a while. So maybe you purchased the Sniper 2 years ago, and you just haven't been hanging out with us in the live room, and you haven't been active. We got an offer for you guys. And then, of course, there's traders out there that are not yet owners or leasers of the Sniper program. I got a phenomenal offer for you guys. So what I'd like you to do, okay, is shoot me an email to andy@sniperscalping.com or ajc61@yahoo.com. At the end of this presentation, if you decided you like what you see and you would like to know what the special offers are, shoot me an email to one of those addresses. In the subject line of your email, tell me which category you're in, Category 1, Category 2, or Category 3, and I will shoot you out a really special offer that's going to be hard to refuse, okay? We would love to have you participate with us either in the live stream or obviously it'd be great to have you come with us. We already have a pretty significant number of traders signed up, but thankfully I booked us a space that's big enough that we do have room for another 12 to 15 traders to join us. So we do have room still for you guys to come and hang out with us live. So don't forget to write your category in the subject line. And with no further ado, I think that's all I have for you guys. All right, we do have some questions here, guys. So actually, while Scott's getting set up with his screen, I'm going to answer some questions. All right, I got that one. Any webinar options for Las Vegas seminar? Any webinar options? I'm not sure what you're asking me on that question. Yeah, maybe you're asking, can you view it through a webinar? So the answer to that question is yes. We are streaming the event, so you can participate from home. You can participate in the Las Vegas seminar from the comfort of your office. We're going to stream the event live to you. So the answer to that question, Gunna, is yes. Another question is, are the robots available? I trade the futures currencies, the 6E and so on. So I suspect that they would function, but I don't have a good answer for that, as I do not trade them personally and I have not traded them. So I suspect that, you know, that adjustments could be made to get it to work, but I don't have an actual 100% answer for you on that. Do you have any performance statistics on the Autobots? No. See, that's part of what The Sniper program is built on this concept that we all have different trading plans, guys, and that's going to transcend through the Autobot program as well. Remember, I am not going to teach you guys turn this thing on, let it run all day, and hope you have more money at the end of the day. That is not how we use these Autobots. So you are going to have a trading plan designed for your Autobot trading, and your trading plan is going to be different than everyone else's. So we do not maintain performance statistics because there is no benchmark. We all trade them differently. Do we have to purchase the one-on-one? Do we need to sign up for them? So there will be a sign-up sheet in Vegas. I think you're coming to Vegas, right, Mike? So we will have that. The sign-up procedure and getting all hooked up with that will occur in Vegas, Mike. So you're all set there. All right, guys. Hey, keep your questions coming, and after Scott finishes his presentation, then I will swing back around and make sure that we don't end today without getting all your questions answered, okay? So don't be shy. Keep typing. Some of them will type answers to probably, and the rest of them we will answer after Scott is finished with his presentation. So let me give a brief introduction to Scott, and then we'll roll, okay? Scott is one of those guys, everybody, that, I mean, he's just near and dear to my heart, and I'm not, you know, I'm not just saying it. Scott's a genuine individual, and he's one of those guys you can't help but really enjoy, you know, really love. He cares about people, and then he rolls all this up into this guy that's a phenomenal presenter. In his former life, he had to have been doing a bunch of presentations for his former work because he's so skilled at it, he's so articulate. And what makes Scott Scott is one of the personal characteristics that makes Scott Scott is his attention to detail. He is such a detail guy, and it's one of the characteristics that truly helps him as a trader. So about 2 years ago, Scott purchased the Sniper systems, and he went through the Sniper course, followed did everything we asked him to do, everything we told him to do. And it was about 90 days later or so, he started saying, you know, Andy, wow, I'm starting to do pretty good with this, and starting to make some, you know, serious money. And about 6 or 9 months later, it was pretty exceptionally exciting, the thing Scott was doing. And it was about that time we were planning for the 2012 Las Vegas seminar, and I said, Scott, you know, what would you think about maybe, you know, coming and sharing a little bit about what you're doing to the Vegas crew? And he jumped all over that. He was willing to do it. And he stole the show, guys. It was unbelievable. Well, this year's, dare I say, even better. It's very unique. Scott was working on this new idea of combining some of the different tools that we use in the Sniper program. I hadn't said anything to him. I just happened to be working on the same thing at the same time, and Scott mentioned, you know, Andy, I got this new thing I want to show you. And so we got together, and sure enough, he had combined a couple of our tools in the same exact way that I was just starting to. So over the last bunch of months, we've collaborated a little bit. I mean, Scott's done all the heavy lifting and put the work into it, and it's unbelievable. You know, the tools that Scott has, or the trading methodology that Scott has produced using the exact same tools you guys have, is nothing short of truly exciting, and you're going to get a little glimpse of that. Let me lead in by saying there are a few new things, but the newness of it is just a combination of different things we already use. We're not going to define what that is for you in this venue, but of course it will be completely defined for you in Vegas. And those that attend Vegas and the live stream will be getting a couple of new indicators that make combining this stuff a little bit easier. So there will be some new stuff there for you guys also. All right, enough hearing me talk, and let's toss it over to Scott. Have a great time over the next 30 to 40 minutes, guys, and then after that we'll make sure all your questions get answered. And if anybody still wants to stay around, we'll take a look at some of the price action from the last couple of days as well. Scott, over to you.
Okay, thanks, Andy. Hi, everyone. I hope everybody's having a good morning. An interesting trading day compared to the last few days or the last few weeks, but nonetheless a pretty decent day. I'm really excited about going to Vegas and sharing some things with you. One, I really like Vegas, so that's one of the beneficial things. I enjoy going there and taking in a few shows and doing some other things. So let's get going. As Andy said, my name is Scott. I'm a trend trading, worked on a trend trading methodology for trading crude oil futures. So my background, a little bit about my background. I'm an IT consultant, corporate IT guy. Worked for a large electronics retailer located in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I trade my own portfolio for the last 10 years, so I've traded within my IRAs, within my 401ks, and done some other things. As Andy mentioned, I'm kind of a very detailed, operational guy. I like facts and figures. I pay attention to what has happened and ranges and things of that nature. My family says I'm anal, but I like to think of it as I'm a disciplined operational guy. I'm kind of a problem solver by nature. I started trading with stocks and moved to covered calls and did a bunch of things. And probably like most of you, I have tried many different systems. I think I started back, it was one of the first systems, I don't know if anybody remembers Wise Trade, where you had the red lights and the green lights and the yellow lights, and it said stop and go and trade and don't trade, and you could put a bunch of stocks in there. I started with them, and I've used just about every system imaginable to man, trying to find something. And one of the things I realized is I was searching, and it finally hit home when talking with, listening to Andy and the team chat a little bit, is I finally found something that fit my personality. And that happened to be some of the Sniper scalping tools. So the reason people jump around is they're trying to find something that fits their personality. Because there are a lot of systems out there that work, there's a lot of systems that don't work, but if you don't try to match it to how you, your risk level and things that you like to do, it's not going to work for you. So I found a tool set that I really enjoyed and was very visual and kind of fits my eye, and I was able to kind of tailor it and make it fit how I thought about the market and how I like to trade. And I think that's a big part in helping anybody get to where they want to be in their trading world. I left the corporate world in spring of 2009. My employer decided that they were going to give some of us mature, experienced individuals an opportunity to pursue other passions. So was provided with that opportunity, left in the spring of 2009. I didn't start looking at day trading until the spring of 2011. So I started trading and doing a bunch of things, a little bit of consulting in the IT world, but really wanted to put myself in a position where I never wanted to have to be dependent on somebody else for my living, and trading provides us that opportunity. One of the few vocations, if you will, that allow you to totally be, it's in your control. We get a scorecard every day that tells us how we did for the day, and that appeals to me. Once again, I said I'm a numbers guy. I like to know where the pluses and minuses line up, and we definitely find out every day at the end of the day. I started with the Sniper program in the fall of 2011. And have been kind of tweaking it ever since then. Just a perspective, and you'll hear the word perspective from me a lot. You have to have a perspective on how you are as a trader, as well as the type of system you're using, as well as what's the market telling you today, and what is that perspective giving us. So I'm a trend trader. I don't try to pick highs or lows or reversal points. I cannot counter trend trade for the life of me. It is not in my makeup. When I look at it and see Andy do it sometimes, I just can't even figure it out. So doesn't fit my personality, so I don't get too wound up about it. I just try to keep on doing what I'm doing. I'm a scalper, so I try to get 5 or 6 ticks on the first contract. I have matured as a trader in that last year when I talked in Vegas, I really, I was taking 5 ticks and 5 ticks. So I had 2 contracts. I either won with the 2 at the same value or lost with the 2 at the same value. I have matured since then and gotten some experience, and now I keep a runner and I trade a little bit differently. So I'm moving along that evolutionary scale, and that has really helped me in my bottom line and realizing some bigger runners and taking advantages of some of the runs that crude oil does make. I'm not a swing trader, and I want to get 20 to 40 plus trades a day. So that's my mental makeup. That's how I think. Anything less than that, I get bored. I lose focus. I start looking at other things. I lose my discipline. So I feel like I need that kind of trading and that number of trades for me to participate during the day. The other ironic thing is I'm also a very conservative trader. My friends kind of laugh when I tell them that I trade crude oil futures, and they look at me and they know that I'm an extremely conservative guy in just about everything I do in life. And they kind of say, okay, Scott, we know you, but you trade crude oil futures. Isn't that risky? And I ask them and I basically tell them, I don't lose more than $100 on a trade. Can you say that about any trade you've made in the last year? Right? And I don't. That $100 is my max on a trade. I just happen to do it or take that risk 20 to 40 times a day. But on an individual trade, nothing more than that risk. Sorry. I use the Sniper tool set. So there's nothing in here, maybe one little tweak, and we'll talk about that, but I believe that that indicator will be available here as we go to Las Vegas. I use some other basic ninja indicators, some moving averages, some other charts that are available. I only trade crude oil. I do not trade gold. I do not trade the DPTL. I love to focus on crude oil. I've spent 2 years looking at it, and I feel that I'm kind of in tune with it. So I'm willing to risk the fact that sometimes crude doesn't move and other markets move better, but I feel comfortable applying my trade and only applying it to crude oil. I trade from about 5 or 6 in the morning till 1:30 in the afternoon, Central Standard Time. I have the Sniper Scalping room on most mornings, although sometimes I don't always listen to it. I just have the screens up and running. And the other thing is I do not trade multiple styles. I think everybody's got a style. I trade only my style and try not to be influenced by too much else during the course of the day. And I think that's really important for everybody once they get going, is once you figure out what that is, then go forward and work with that and develop your own style and your own system. It may look a lot like somebody else's, and that is fine. It's always good to start with somebody who's done some winning things, but if you don't make sure that you alter it to your personality, then you're probably going to fail at getting a winning system. Before we go any further, I got to tell you about what was the transitionary situation or set of or occurrence, event, what have you, that helps change how I trade. And there were 6 words that changed my mindset about how I trade, how I deal with the success and failure around trading, how I think about it. And those 6 words are: you need to anticipate to participate. Now, I heard it from somebody on Andy's staff, and I can't remember exactly who it was, if it was Jerry or Jay or Eric or Andy himself, but you can't, when you think about this, this is really what we're all trying to do, is we're trying to figure out how to anticipate when we should participate in the market. When do I get ready to take that trade setup? And do all the things that we do really are in helping us to anticipate so we can participate. We've got trade setups that tell us take the trade if this occurs. We're doing homeworks and back testing and sim testing so we can take a look and say, when this situation appears to us, can we take advantage of it, and can I start memorizing and understanding and seeing what those opportunities look like, as well as putting it forward into our stop management. You know, we've looked at it a lot. Now I can start anticipating how much of a profit I should be taking, or how much risk and loss should I be willing to put up. My growth with the Sniper program. As I mentioned, I started back in the fall of 2011, and before Vegas, so 12 to 15 months before we had 12 months before we had our first Vegas seminar, or the first Vegas seminar, and I just kind of labeled these as versions. And before Vegas of last year, I got standard Sniper dots and diamonds, and that was interesting, but back then we were using 5-range and 6-range charts, and I'm kind of a 6-range chart guy, and I wasn't getting enough trades. Just wasn't generating enough signals, and we were experiencing ranges from daily true ranges from 80 ticks to 130 ticks, so it just wasn't happening. Added vert lines to that and increased the number of trades, but still wasn't providing me enough long and short opportunities through the course of the day. Then as I started looking at this more and more, I worked on creating a short-term trend trading rule set of my own, and developed a set of rules that if I saw situations occur, a combination of signals and bar colors and things of that nature, I could do that. But I also found out that it was more of a mental rule set. I could write it down, but it became really hard for somebody else to follow. So if something isn't simple, you got to do it. You got to move on, because if it's complex and you can't explain it to somebody, you'll never be able to sustain that in a long-term run. Then after Vegas of last year, I semi-automated what I was working on, and that helped us a little bit. And we could generate some signals and arrows that said, okay, we've got the trade is coming up here, get ready to take the trade. And then I kind of went back to basics. Last January and February, the market kind of slowed down on us, and it didn't fit. The short-term trend following system wasn't generating the profits that I was looking to achieve, and had to kind of rethink that plan. Came up with the Sniper Power Oscillator is what I started calling it, because it was a combination of using the Power Oscillator along with a couple of other Sniper tools, and then kind of took it to the next level with developing a whole trade set around this the Power Oscillator that we have. Before we go any further, what I want to do is talk about, before I get into my trade methodology, I always get asked a question. I get about 2 slides into whatever I'm doing, and somebody always says, what's your stop strategy, what's your ATM? Well, I want to kind of address that, and my answer to that is usually we need to stop thinking about stop strategies and start worrying about start strategies. All right? And that may sound kind of goofy, but if you don't know why you're getting into a trade and where you're getting into a trade and how you're thinking about that trade, the stop strategy really doesn't matter. So we really want to encourage you on, we need to really focus our energies and put our efforts into working on creating a start strategy, and hopefully I'll give you a little example of what I'm trying to take a look at. So let's move into this Power Osc. It's kind of a collaboration between Andy and myself. It's basically not a new methodology, but it helps us set up a trade plan. I look at it as an extension of the trend trading methodology. So everything that I will show you today and focus on in Vegas is utilizing this in trading with the trend. The new indicator is a combination of multiple sniper tools, and it's more of how it's being utilized. And all of those details, all the settings, all the screenshots, everything you need to know about it will be shared in Vegas. It's just a little bit more to it than trying to share it in a 30 to 45 minute webinar. And be happy to provide those, and most of those will be provided along with the slides, so you don't have to record anything or write anything down. Those will be available to you as a copy of the PowerPoints that I put together. So let's talk about the power oscillator. So what I've been doing over the course of the last 9 months, probably since the first of the year, is every day I go, at the end of the day, I go back and take a look at all my trades, and then I replot them onto a blank chart that has our indicators, and I record where I made the entry and whether the entry was good or bad, profitable or not profitable. And what you'll see here is where I have the neon or cyan colored dots. That's a winning trade. And then where you will see in a few slides here in the future, you will see something that shows a black square, and that would be a losing trade. So that's a real simple model of what we're trying to do with the power oscillator. Now, as I was trying to come up with something, because the reason I was looking at building something like this or having something like this in my repertoire is I wanted something that was simple, repeatable, easy to identify, and something that I could teach to my family members, to somebody else's family member, and be able to teach it and have somebody understand what it is so that they wouldn't have to spend a lot of time trying to figure out a rule set. So you can understand it and see it. The next step then is being able to execute it. So today we're only talking about understanding it and seeing it as it occurs. And what I'm going to do here is give you an example of the charts from August 26th. So a few days ago, what was that, last Friday, somewhere in there. And these are just the trades that happen to present themselves from a Power Osc scenario. Now I have, there are 4 or 5 other trades that also go along with this. So right here and right now, all we're talking about is the Power Osc. The trade is simply, once the indicator is set up correctly, and it's a combination of these indicators that we will show you how to set up, when the new power oscillator line crosses the threshold, which corresponds to the EP lines, we are going to go long or short on the next open bar. So right here we cross the lower oscillator, the lower EP line. We cross that line and we go short at 106.50, which is the open of the next bar. That's all there is to this trade. Once again, crossing the oscillator down, or the oscillator crosses the threshold, we go short on the next bar. The oscillator crosses the threshold going up, we can go long on the next bar, and that would have been a loss right there. And we will tell you there's a couple other rules on how we stay out of some of these trades. One of the rules is after we've had a 50, 60, 70 tick run down, we don't take the first trade in the opposite direction. So that keeps us out of this first move, first long, because we've gone short from 70 down to 05. We've got a 65 tick move down. So we've got a couple of nuances that we add to this that try to keep us out of the trades long and short, or help us stay out of trades that aren't as strong. I'm also very much driven by color, right? If we're going to take a short, we like to see red bars going down and gaining strength. We like to see this step process here that we see where we're transitioning from blue to green, from green to red, and we're having more reds and more blues. So when this lines up with these steps like this, with a cross of the threshold, we have a great entry opportunity. And this entry, by the way, ran for 50 down to 05, 45 ticks. So you had 45 ticks worth of opportunity. The way I managed those trades, I would have either gotten 30 or 40 ticks on my second runner in that scenario. We pass on this because it's our first opportunity up, our second trade. We cross the threshold. Next bar, we go long. We take a winner for 6 ticks. A few minutes later, we cross the threshold going down. We go short on the open in the next bar, and that has about 12 to 14 ticks available to us. As you can see, I started at 6 in the morning, and by 7:45, hour and a half into it, we've had 3 winning opportunities. Right before 8 o'clock, it crossed the threshold. I was probably a bar late in getting there, took a loss. Flip side, missed this trade at 8 o'clock. Yes, some of the trades we miss, right? They occur fast. In Las Vegas, we will be talking about an 8 o'clock trade. That may be a possible opportunity for some people who like to trade the opening. Few minutes, about 45 seconds into the opening, we cross the threshold going long. We're transitioning from red into green and blue. We go long at the open of the next bar from 23 up to 50. Another 20 tick opportunity. Cross the threshold here, right? So I'm not paying attention to any of this chatter from this point in time. I know it's approaching, breaking it here. I haven't paid attention to any of this trade, any of this movement that's going on. I'm just waiting for us to get close to this line to generate another trade short. So we have a short there at a little after around 8:12. We have another occurrence at around 8:30. So at this point in time, we are now 6-1. On the day, it's at 8:30. We've been trading for 2.5 hours. So each one of these trades, as an example, each one of these trades, and let's say I got a minimum of 5 and 5. I'm trading 2 contracts, and that's what I trade. That's my maximum trade set. If I get 5 points apiece from that, that's 10 points per trade, and that provides 10 points a trade, and I lost one trade, and I'll even give us the max of losing 10 points. We are net 50 points on 7 trades. So 600 minus 100, we're at $500 less commissions, and we're right at the equity open. And this is a pretty standard day if you want to trade in this particular way. Now there are like I mentioned, there are 3 or 4 other types of trades we sneak in along the way. But as you can see, the rule set is pretty straightforward. We like to have reds. Our EP lines are red. We cross the threshold, take the trade. Cross the threshold, take the trade. Now I mentioned that I like colors. We're transitioning from blue to green. Right? That's like a failure continuation trade. Lines up, crosses the threshold, we go short. Was probably a little aggressive. Maybe a better entry would have been a little bit later than that. But once again, a very simple entry to get into. And we will show you how to do that using this little indicator here on the side, which sometimes shows up. Just continuing on, more of the same. Cross the threshold, enter long. On the open of the next bar, we have about an 8-tick opportunity. We come up here, we cross the threshold again, enter on the next bar, 20 to 33, 13-tick. And this process just kind of plays out through the course of the day. Short, cross the threshold, go short. Cross the threshold, go short here. So now we're at about 9 o'clock this morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, and we've got 10 trades in. And as we go through these slides, this is just a simple repeating process. We cross the threshold, we go short. And if you take a look here, I've missed some trades. We crossed the threshold right here. We could have gone short there for a winning opportunity. Wasn't able, I missed that trade, wasn't able to get into it. So do we have losing trades? Absolutely. At about 9:16, we had a move up. We crossed the threshold. We went short, or excuse me, we went long because we crossed the upper threshold, entered in. Now the good part about this, I told you I was a conservative person. We went 3 ticks up. At that point in time, I am now have moved my stop to probably -2, maybe even break even. So I haven't lost a whole lot of money at this point in time on that particular trade. A few minutes later, we had another cross of the threshold. Right, nice strong patterns. We got a nice straight line. We got nice straight lines going up. These are perfect lines. Took the trade, got in 1 tick too early. They drove it back down. Lost 4 ticks on that, on both contracts on that trade. We're now 11-3. A few minutes later, once again we cross the threshold. Really like this. Look at this. We're all the EP lines are blue and trending up. Pretty easy trade to take. We get in at around 05. I actually stopped out at 5 and 5 on that one. Got a short trade here, same thing. We broke the threshold, went short at somewhere around 04, and had 7-8 ticks available to us for opportunity. And I realize I'm kind of going through this pretty fast. But we're sitting here at about 10:30. That's kind of when Andy ends the room ends their broadcast some days, unless they're going into teaching mode. But on this particular day, we were 14-3 on this individual trade. broke the threshold down here, went short at the open of the next bar. Broke the threshold down here, went short at the open of the next bar. Now we do a couple things. When I get in a situation like this, I try to stay outside the prior pivot. So I'm not getting trapped inside a little early. I may take it short below that prior pivot even though I'm below the open of the bar. I'm willing to do that from a conservative discipline perspective. But we kind of get more of the same, right? We just look for those new opportunities to present themselves. 16-3 here. So here's an interesting scenario. Went short at about 60, only went down to 56, 4 ticks. A lot of times when I'm approaching a certain level, I will move my stop really quick. I manually move my stops to +3, +1. And I will get stopped out when it pulls back. So once I get to a +3 or +4 value, I would say 9 times out of 10, I am taking a minimum +1 on my trades. Right? I have significantly changed my win-loss ratio by moving my stops as soon as possible to +1. Now I get whipped out of some trades at +1. Why do I choose +1? +1 generates $20, and it's usually $10 in a round trip for two contracts on a commission basis. So I'm still generating positive revenue. As I told you, I'm a very conservative guy, so I don't like to lose money. I mean, none of us like it, right? I don't like to lose money, and when I have an opportunity to lock in profits, I do that rather quickly. Losing trade here takes us to, we had all blue, crossed the threshold, might have been able to get in a little earlier, but tried to get in about at 85 and lost 2-3 ticks on both contracts here. 12 o'clock. The 12 o'clock trade, crossed the lower threshold, took my entry and got 5 or 6 trades. And once again, we just kind of continue on. Broke the upper threshold, winner. Broke the lower threshold, winner. And we keep doing this up until 1:30. So the other day we were, with this trade, it was 22-4. And I would tell you I did not take all of those trades because I was already in some other trades based on some other entries. So that is the Power Osc. Once again, we wait for a break of our threshold, which is the upper and lower lines on our the extreme pulse indicator, and our new Power Osc breaks that threshold, and we go long or short at that point in time when it breaks the threshold. One other thing I'm going to show you here is this is a indicator I use, and Andy will be, the Sniper Scalping community will have access to that indicator. You're used to seeing these 2 indicators on the inside, 105.97, 105.89, and that tells you where the next bar is going to open. But what we have done, what I've done, is added another line onto that, meaning if the bars continue the way they're continuing, a 6-range bar, we would have an open on each side of those. It would tell you where the second bar would open. And that's where I tend to put my entries. I will bring them down and sneak them down or onto these lines so that I've got a long or a short, depending on my perspective of the market, at either one of these 2 levels at any point in time during the trade. And these, you will see, are always on the hard right-hand edge of the trade. We're doing this in PowerPoint, so it shows up on weird places for us. But basically, I trade until 1:30 at the end of the day, and I call it quits. So I know we ran through this very fast. We talked about the Sniper Power Osc PO trade. as the main trade that we just looked at. We will also add 3 more trades to that in Vegas. The Sniper pullback trade, which allows us to get into trends where we may have missed a move down, or we weren't able to use our Power Osc indicator to get us into a trend. We'll talk about a combination of how I use the extreme pulse crossover and the PO trade, as well as utilizing breakout trades with our Power Osc. So there will be 3 more trade sets or trades available to going in and doing that. Just to give you an idea, and we've had literally in the last 2 weeks, I think I've had 3 best ever days. So from a trading perspective, the volatility in the market starting early in the morning provided us with a number of opportunities where some days you didn't even have to think about the trades. It was just kind of like, we've had big, strong moves, get into the trade where it says enter, and just fire away. And take your losses as they occur, but do not worry about them, because the wins were exceeding the losses on a pretty regular basis. And as traders, we ought not to try to guess when to get in and when to get out. We ought to trust, if we've done enough work, we trust what we've done, trust what we've looked at, and continue to go with the trades. And when we have a losing trade, we have a losing trade. That's part of the methodology. That's just part of the trade that we're in. And part of the business that we're in is you have to accept losses, because we are not going to be perfect in this, in no way, shape, or form. There's not an Autobot. There's not a methodology. Maybe some of the market makers and the people who control the market can have a perfect record, but I'm not so sure that occurs. They just accept their risk levels and deal with it as they come. So we're going to learn about 3 more trades in addition to the Power Osc trade. What are you going to find out from me in Las Vegas? We're going to get the Sniper Power Osc indicator, and I will make sure, I promise that if I will be available to help folks set it up and get it running on their computers, and if that takes one-on-one time, then that's what we'll do. So you'll get all the settings, you'll get the trade setups, we'll talk about trade nuances, trade entry, trade exit, and you'll have tons of examples. So, and examples are critical. I take pictures of everything I do in trading, and what's really helped me is being able to visualize those trades and visualize what setups look like before they occur. And so that when you see patterns, and the stock market is patterns, it's just a series of patterns that repeat itself. So when you see a pattern, you hope to say, that's a pattern I recognize that has done this in the past, and you can count on it being 60, 70, 80% successful and continuing to do the exact same thing. That's what I got for you today. I'm looking forward to going to Vegas. Does anybody have any questions? I'm going to try to pay attention to the questions here a little bit closer. I know we've run through a lot of material.
So just popping in here, Scott, take a sip of something to drink, and let me just say, Scott, if you open up and look at the questions, you'll notice that I've answered most of them. So as you scroll down, you don't have to answer all the questions. You should kind of be able to see the ones that...
I'm not getting any questions at all, Andy, so there they are. Okay.
So there were a lot, but I answered most of them. So I encourage you to focus on maybe the last 6 or 7. And guys, if you asked a question earlier and I didn't answer it, you can repost it. So just start with since 1244, Scott, and go ahead and answer away.
Have you tried this with the fast pulse? Steve. Steve, basically, I have tried this with the 6 range. I started originally, a year ago with 5 range and 4 range, and I use 6 range with the slow pulse setting, and that's what works for me, and that's what's worked the last 9 or 10 months, and that's what worked in my back testing, and so I'm kind of a 6 range slow pulse guy. I believe that you people want to take these indicators and run them against a different range chart, a different pulse setting, that it probably is applicable, but you may have to tweak it a little bit. So no, I haven't, but I don't think it would be a difficult thing to back test. And I think you'd probably have some success being able to do that. And likewise, I haven't done this against gold or the DAX or anything along those lines. How do we get the new OSC indicator if we can't go to Vegas? Terry, if you're signed up to either do the webinar or go to Vegas, we will make sure in some way, shape, or form, Andy's team will make sure that you get that. What are you using for the pulse extreme settings? I use 6 through 15. Roger? Is this on NinjaTrader? John, yes it is. It's the only thing it's on. Is the trading system different from the one sold by Andy, which is based on divergence? I've used divergence a little bit on this, but the tools are exactly the same tools. It's this, the indicators. I load them onto Ninja. It's the same, it's the extreme pulse. It's the OSC indicator. It's the entries. All the same indicators. The settings are a little bit different, and we will show you how to get those set up. And I have tried to, Robert, I have tried to incorporate, and once in a while I do incorporate divergence setup, but I don't trade it as a true methodology in what I'm doing. I try to incorporate it a little bit, but I tend to have enough things going on where I only look at a few things. Or the fewer things that I can look at, the better. The indicator was choppy between 1 and 130. How do you handle that? From John. John, so this is a trend trading methodology system. If the system is not trending, it's not going to be generating good signals. So we have to identify when we're in chop, and just like any other product or any other trend trading system, it's not going to work in that really choppy world. So when I get small ranges, what I do is I wait for breakouts, and that's one of the trades I had mentioned earlier. So when we get choppy, you're going to get chopped up with a trend trading system. And I'm not sure I really know of a system that can handle chop really well, but I just try to stay out of it and recognize it as soon as possible so that I don't toss any of my hard-earned money away on a choppy market. And this is kind of a little bit of a soapbox, but identifying that chop really comes with focus and screen time, so that the sooner you can see it and the sooner you can recognize when we're in those chop periods, the better off you will be. And I apologize for kind of going a little silent there. I'm also trading while we're doing this, and I just jumped in long here a couple minutes ago at 40. So I'm also managing a trade as we're going along here, and I apologize for that, but I am a trader and that's what I do. What were the 4 side indicators? From Marie. Marie, I'm not sure I understand that question, but I believe that you're talking about down in the lower level or in the lower panel. Those are the setting levels that the new indicators will be put at, and we will show you those setting levels in Las Vegas. Hopefully that's good enough for you for the time being. Scott, are you always looking to get a runner on your second contract? From Lindsay. Lindsay, it depends on how the market is going. On a day when the market is giving us some 30 and 40 and 50-point runs? The answer is yes. On a day when I'm only getting 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 ticks, sometimes I will set my contracts to just get filled at 5 and 5, and I will take those. I'll take my 10 points, 10 ticks, and thank you very much, and go on to the next trade. So I start out every day by, and I'll give you my stop strategy. My stop strategy is I've got a target of 5 and a target of 20 and a loss of 5 ticks. As soon as, if it hits 5, my stop goes automatically to +1. So if I hit my 5 value, my stop is at +1, and I will never lose money at that. A lot of times, even before it hits 5, I'm moving my stop manually to break even or +1, and then I move my stop manually. I follow my trade manually as far up as I can, and so typically if it gets to 15, I'll move my stop to 10. If it gets to 20, I'll move it to 15. So I'm doing a manual trail with my stop, trying to maximize that trade. So if it gets above 25, I'll never take less than 20. If it gets above 35, I'll never take less than 30. And that's just kind of a standard mentality of how I manage my trades. Are the settings the same from Sniper settings? Greg. Greg, I'm not sure, but the settings are all easily controlled, and I use almost all the same standard values as the Sniper settings. So hopefully I answered your question, but they're pretty straightforward and simple, and we will make sure that everybody's got the right settings. I can't even remember. There may be some small tweaks in there that I'd have to do, that we'd have to tell you about, but I can't even remember if they are different. But they are different than what Andy uses, right? Andy's got 4 range. He's using a 4-range chart, so his zone ticks are different. He could be using fast pulse or slow pulse. I'm not even sure. I don't pay attention that close to some of his settings. So 6-range settings are different than 4-range settings. 2 seconds here, just to show you folks that I didn't pick a day that was just a good day. Andy, I'm going to run through a couple more charts. So let's take a look here really quick. On this chart, you see from 5:30. I was up at 5:30 this morning, Central Time. We had on this day there were 4 trades by 7 o'clock. We were 8-1 by open, 10-1 by the open actually, and we had a nice little runner here, right? Got us some 20 plus 5. That's a $250 trade on 2 contracts. 13-2, standard entries, right? Just waiting for the breaks. Got a break here. Got a break here. And for those of, and that is this morning's trades, folks. So this morning was a tough day. There weren't a lot of 10, 15, 20-point runners, but just wanted to show you that you can apply it to a day that it gave us some trades and treated us pretty well. We've actually had some nice little trades while we've been talking. So just wanted to show you really quick what today looked like. Scott, there appears to be a blue dotted vertical line every time you cross the threshold, but put those blue vertical lines in place. I'd love to potentially have those automated in the future, but then again, I may not, because I don't always wait for the threshold to happen. Sometimes I jump the gun, depending on the day. So the blue vertical lines are purely for documentation and presentation purposes, so that we can associate the cross of a threshold with the entry on the next bar, just so it vertically aligns up for us. You notice that the line pokes through. So Carl, you notice that the line pokes through. I don't take the trade, and then pulls back and crosses again, and a trade was taken. What happened on the first? Typically where that happens, Carl, is that that line pokes through and I'm inside a prior pivot or really close to a prior pivot. So I am anticipating a bounce. I let it bounce and poke through again, and then I take the trade. So I guess I call this some of our common sense rules that we'd like to add to keep us out of those first trades that get certain trades that get whipped. In that, let's take a higher percentage trade and wait and make sure that it breaks through the threshold as well as a prior pivot if it's sitting really close. We end up talking, we'll talk about that a lot more in Vegas. Is there a recording of the session? I think so. What about the 19-bar rules? One, I don't really pay too much attention to the 19-bar rules. What I do pay attention to, and we will, is that there is a extreme pulse cross in combination with the Power Osc, and that's what I use versus the 19-bar rule. And so I look to see that the extreme pulse, when it fires the arrow because it's crossed, I look to make sure that the oscillator is in a strong positive position and trending up, and I would take the trade then. But as you can see, I got in a little earlier before the arrow crossed. And that happens, doesn't happen frequently, but that happens occasionally. We'll often see an extreme pulse cross and a PO fire at the same time. But I don't cross anything out because of a 19-bar rule. So you are moving stops on both contracts, Marie. The answer is yes, the stop controls both contracts, Marie. So yeah, I'm moving it up. I only have one stop.
Hey guys, I'm going to jump in here. We've already totally blown away our timing schedule here. It wasn't you, Scott. It was me actually on the early going. But I do think we answered just about every question. And guess what, everybody? If your question didn't get answered, I guarantee it will be in Vegas. Let's give Scott a round of applause. I guess we don't have I'll give him my own round of applause here. Great job as always, Scott. I appreciate you giving up even your trading time. So, you know, you decided to come in here during the morning here and grace us with this awesome presentation and have to give up being able to trade as you normally would. So, special thank you to Scott. Make sure you look at your board, Scott, because a lot of people are sharing a lot of great comments that they really enjoyed the presentation. So that's a wrap, guys, for the Las Vegas seminar presentation. Have an awesome rest of your day.